Well, hello. What's up? What's going on? I feel like the news finally dried up. This has happened at CES the last several years, even during the COVID stuff. Uh, Avalanche of stuff on Monday, too much to fit in one show. Big press events, massive announcements. Tuesday is filled to the brim as well. You're like, how can I possibly get through this? Wednesday starts to feel like, okay, there's no more big, massive press announcements, but then you slowly like, oh, wait, I missed that. And there was that cool thing. And here's another thing. And it starts to build up. Thursday, you finally say, all right, there's no more new stuff, but there's a few things we want to get to. And then Friday is like everything just evaporated and companies are tired of announcing things. Journalists are tired of writing things. You start to get everybody's like, here's a look at this year's CES, like summary stuff. Yeah, I see a lot of people publishing stories that we talked about earlier in the week because they're catching up on those stories the way we're catching up on other stories because everybody can't do everything, right? Like TechCrunch is just reporting the Hertz selling EVs. It's a heck of a time. How you doing, Tectonic? How's the UK? Hope it's not as cold as it usually is, but it probably is. Hey, Samuel. Hey, Clinton. Good to see you, Clinton. Zoe and Ryan. I hope Minneapolis is also super unnaturally warm. I know it's probably not. All right. I just want to do today's show and then sleep. Lamar was just asking me on text. He's like, was it good? Was it worth it? I do feel like it was worth it to go to CES. Especially if we're able to, it's time to be real, especially if we're able to cover it properly next year. If things get back to normal and all that, then yeah, I think it might be real. I'm be reeling. Okay. No, Samuel, I didn't eat any good food. Actually, that's not true. I did eat very good food on Thursday, wait, what day is it? On Wednesday night, thanks to KT Data. But here's my food at CES. In the morning, eat something that I had bought in advance so I didn't have to leave the room while I worked on prep. So I had a couple of croissants, a thing of Cheerios, some instant coffee, like mixed coffee. That was my breakfast. I bought some bananas too, so I had some bananas. Then lunch, most days, was run downstairs because there was the Central Hall broadcast suite is what I was in the middle of the Central Hall of the Las Vegas Convention Center. And that block has bathrooms, convenient, maybe not lovely, but convenient to be super close to the bathrooms. That has bathrooms and it has 2 restaurants downstairs. So there was a Quiznos and a barbecue place. So Quiznos was the most affordable option. I would run downstairs, grab a turkey sandwich and usually a coffee. And then that would be my lunch. And then dinners during the press events were whatever free food they were giving out at the press events. So CES unveiled Showstoppers, Digital Experience. Digital Experience was probably my favorite. They all had decent food, but Digital Experience was probably my favorite because they had chefs making fresh hot pasta for you. I mean, fresh hot pasta. They're sort of reheating the pasta that was already boiled and made, but it was made pretty recently, so it's pretty fresh. And they heat it up in a pan with some garlic and stuff. That was really good. So those are my meals until Wednesday when there was no press event. And I was able to hook up with KT Data and he took me to Island Style, which is an off the strip little family restaurant. The guy's Hawaiian, the woman is Korean. So the menu is Hawaiian and Korean, 2 of my favorites. So I had spam musubi and doenjang jjigae and, it was really good. That was the best meal I had. Yesterday, I had dinner at the airport because I had an evening flight with Shannon Shannon was flying out around the same time as me. So we grabbed a little pizza at the airport. And I had no bacon. Zoe, can you imagine? This is the reason we need more patrons, so I can afford bacon next time. No. I never went anywhere for breakfast. I just ate breakfast in my room, and I did not encounter. Oh, wait, hold on. There might have been some bacon wrapped chicken in one of the the press things. So maybe there was some bacon. Maybe there was some bacon in there. They had, did they have samgyeopsal? Actually, I just went for the doenjang jjigae, and I don't remember. They had jjajangmyeon. They had a lot of Chinese stuff, jjajangmyeon, jampong, palo, but I don't remember whether they had samgyeopsal there. Thank you, Adam12. It's good to be back home, safe and sound. I hope you all got a chance to look at the TikTok and the Instagrams and all of that. I had a lot of fun doing shorts. Being around all those influencers, like Shannon and Trish inspired me to do more of that stuff. And what was it? Someone asked me to do something here when I got back. And I can't remember what it was. It was RW Nash who asked me. I'll just have to go look at the comments. I'm sure I can find it. Because he said, thank you. Why don't they show you the comments? So weird. Anyway. Oh, maybe it was on Instagram. And I said, yeah, I'll do that when I get back. It's everything. They say, the old adage, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, which isn't at all true. But sometimes what you do in Vegas, you can't remember after you leave. All right, there it is. Thank you. More on your setup, audio hijack. Audio hijack. Yeah. All right. I'll do that. I'll do a video on that. I'm not going to do it right now. But yeah, I'll do a little video on the laptop setup. That's why I couldn't remember it, because it wasn't something I had to be home for. What could it have been? That's what it was. It was, I use Audio Hijack for this, and this is how we record, and this is it. Honestly, it would be better to have Joe do that, because he does more of this stuff than I do these days. Ryan says, just watch the unpacking video. Makes me miss doing events like that. I should do that when I go to VA in March and NC 2 weeks later, Virginia, North Carolina. Hey, Beatmaster. I won't see any of them because I don't use TikTok, only Reels. Well, okay. Then you won't see them. You will see the Reels then and the shorts because you're on YouTube right now. Jason Howell, what are you doing in there? Says, hey, can't stick around, but welcome home, Tom. Looked like you had a solid CES trip from the socials. Yes, I did. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for dropping in. I hope you're still around to hear me say that. Killbot404, how does home feel after CES? Welcome. It feels very welcome. Feels good. Feels comfy. Feels soft and fluffy and all the things that make you feel better. I'm very much looking forward to finishing today's show so that I can just be done for a weekend because, we had a holiday break. The holiday break was a little busy, as it is for a lot of people, for me. And then we did a week of shows. I had a Saturday and then boom, off to Vegas on Sunday, right? So it was a travel day early. I left early. I was there pretty much all day and then was going hard. CES for me is hard work. And I don't say for me to mean it's not hard work for other people. It's hard work for most people who are there. But yeah, the way I do it is not, I do get the sense sometimes that people don't quite understand what I'm doing because they don't see me anywhere. I don't go to appointments. I don't have meetings. I just hole up in my room in the morning and I try to write and wade through the thousands and thousands of things being announced. But it's good to be there because you can see stuff. And I have a better idea of the kind of stuff I'd want to do. What did you think of the walkthrough videos, the sort of silent walkthrough videos that I did? I think they could be improved, but did you like the concept there? I'm curious about that. I got some good feedback when I first posted them. But I was thinking about doing more of that kind of thing, maybe even on the main show floor, not just at the press events. That was kind of an experiment. Seeing the new Wi-Fi 7 devices gives me buyer's remorse for my Wi-Fi 6E. Well, yeah, I get that, man. I always try to tell myself, like, but I don't have a ton of Wi-Fi 7 devices. So if I got a Wi-Fi 7 router, I'd have to replace all my devices. So I'm good for a while. Oh, Samuel wants to know how far the Best Buy was from CES where I grabbed the splitter. I mean, I don't know how far in miles, but it took me 10 minutes by Uber to get there. It took me longer to get back because I had to wait for a car to agree to come pick me up and take me back to the strip. Adam says he knows how it used to be the same when he covered Toy Fair in New York. Had to come back after 3 days and dive into the work of coverage. Yeah. Totally. All right, good. It seems like enough of you liked the walkthroughs. You missed them. I don't pay enough attention to YouTube. I did those sub to the IG account in the wake of CES. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, we should probably cross-post those to multiple places. And B, they're still there at the YouTube. It's not like they went away, so you can go check them out. St. Clair says, I haven't got to see them yet, but I generally like those. I'm among the media who couldn't make it here this year. It will be nice to see some of what I missed. Yeah, I figure it gives people a good overview of that kind of thing. I like that too. Thank you, Dyka30. So far, so good. Knock on wood. Let's see. Well, you can just dive into anyway. Yeah, you do you, Ryan. Whatever you need to do. And yeah, we can certainly. There's always backing me up. We can certainly cross post that kind of stuff. Is there anything of those of you who did see it? Thanks, Ryan. Is there anything that you're like, I would like more of this, or it'd be cool if you did something different? You know, I was wondering if my pace of walking was good. I was just sort of going by instinct of like, I'm not going to spend too long on any one thing, but I want to give you enough of a sense where you can look at something and identify. I'm not whipping by so fast you can't tell what's there. And the other thing is, the longer you stand there, and you probably heard this, those of you who watched it, the more people are like, hey, can I talk to you about my thing? Yeah, and if the pace, that's true. I can err on the slow side because you can always speed up the video. That's a really good point, B-Master. Yeah, and I don't, we're also, just experimenting with the mix of having a little background sound in there. So it's not just the sound of the hall. But not having it so loud that you can't hear the natural sound. Because one thing while I was recording it, I was hearing the snatches of conversation as I was walking by. I was like, those to me are almost the most interesting thing. Hearing the little snatches of questions or explanations or comments. I thought that was just, as a fly on the wall, kind of fascinating too. Yeah, that's a good point, Zoe. We can't cross post more than 10 minutes on TikTok. So we can cross post to Instagram for the longer stuff maybe, but we'd have to cut it down or do it in parts. I guess we could do it in parts, part 1, part 2, part 3. I've seen people do that before. But those are fun. I definitely had the idea because I got over to the Venetian to Hall G and the Eureka Park setup there, and I was thinking like, oh, I could do this. It's bigger than those Showstoppers floors. It would be a longer video, or it would have to be broken into parts, but it's small enough scale. I don't know if you did a walkthrough of the central hall, whether you'd really get it. It's possible. David says, I'm watching Ace to Tech Live on YouTube on the TV. Which chat are you replying to? Twitch? Both. I see them both. I see the Twitch chat and the YouTube chat both. And the Discord. because I was paying attention to Discord. Hi, David. You look comfy. But yeah, I think I want to do something in that Eureka Park area, because that's where all the startups are. That's where all the international companies are. And I knew they had it organized by country, but it's like very visibly organized by country. That was one thing I didn't realize until I was actually there. Like there's a big sign that says, the French pavilion and the Netherlands area and the Swiss area. So I think it would be fun I was trying to think of some kind of like Epcot of tech kind of situation over there too. And maybe this is for Eureka Park more than anything. I had the idea of what if maybe you'd have to carry a sign that says it, like, we are only stopping at each booth for 15 seconds. If you want to pass a message, say it fast. So people get the idea of like, we're not stopping, but here's your chance. You can make a quick pitch. I don't know. That's probably silly. 15 seconds is not much to do anything. TechCot. I like it. I like the Epcot TechCot. A lot of interesting things and a lot of things that are not interesting. That's the jive, right? There's some things that you're like, I don't know about that one. I don't know. And maybe if we just had a different, because I used the GoPro the first day and it was way too shaky. I just didn't have the right equipment to stabilize it. You need a gimbal for that. But if I had a DJI Osmo, I could see going through the central hall then, because it can capture, big vistas like that. Because man, that SK booth in the central hall was crazy. I did post that on Instagram. It was an amusement park. I have no idea what they were, what they were promoting. I don't know if they did. They probably did, but I certainly didn't. But there was like a train in their booth. That was old school CES right there. Let me tell you. Ooh, an LED badge, Sinclair. That's interesting. Limited time for a message scrolling on it. I mean, Professor R2, that's what I was thinking. It's your elevator pitch, but an elevator usually takes more than 15 seconds. So I don't know. Maybe I'd have to expand it to 30. Then it goes too slow. Oh, that's a good tip. Thanks, Sang. I'll pass that along to Roger and Joe. Maybe we can go through and do another pass on that. Samuel, that's the question everybody always asks. What product did you find most interesting? And I always have the hardest time answering that, partly because I don't remember all the products. It just passes through my brain. But also it's really hard. It's really hard to choose because they're so different. I think the Rabbit R1 would be my best of CES. And it's so unproven that maybe is a bad choice, but it was innovative and it got people really excited, and it's full of potential. For some reason, it keeps reminding me of the Slingbox. The first year the Slingbox was at CES, a lot of people were like, is that going to work? Why do you need it? And granted, Slingbox isn't still around, but it was fairly big, for several years. So I think the Rabbit R1, and if you don't know what the Rabbit R1 is, it's about half the size of a phone. It's got a touch screen and a camera and an LTE SIM card slot and a little scroll wheel, but it's really meant to be operated by voice. And you have to log in on their web portal with your accounts. So you have a cloud version of things. So there's a trust issue in there for sure. But you log in, and if you log into, like, say, Spotify, you can then tell it like things to do on Spotify, and it can actually do them because it's got a large language model. They call it a large action model, but it has been trained not on all of the world's knowledge to try to spit back anything. It has been trained to use apps. So it's very good at knowing what a settings menu looks like, and how to read menus and how to figure out how that stuff works. I think that's pretty fascinating as a concept, and it's a shipping product. So it's a fascinating concept that isn't vaporware, and maybe it's not good for anything, but we're going to find out. And I feel like that's exciting, and that's what CES is about. So I think that's my pick. St. Clair, you're with me, man. It's difficult to pick just one, looking through press releases, and there are a bunch of interesting things. Yeah. That's why they tend to when you see those best of CES's lists, a lot of times they do them by category because it makes it easier to be like, okay, well, of the laptops, this was my favorite. And of the TVs, this was my favorite. Because yeah, I can definitely get the LG TV, the LG laptop that has the Android tablet as its screen, and then you can remove that and use it as an Android tablet. If that had continuity where it could go from the Windows side to the other, that'd be great. But the fact that you can continue to use the laptop even without the screen attached, by attaching a monitor, I was fascinated by that. It's probably entirely impractical, but I really like that. Did you see any products that didn't include AI in the design and description? Yes, I did. Didn't I? Pretty sure I did. Oh yeah, the in and out flip. The Samsung demonstration of a foldable, basically a demonstration of a hinge that can go both ways. So it's like the flip, right? Where's my Pixel Fold? Oh, it's over there in the bag. It can fold. It's like the flip, the Samsung Galaxy Flip, right? So you got the screen on the inside, and you fold it flat, but you can also fold it this way, and then you got the screen on the outside, and you can use it as a cover screen. Yeah, I try to avoid saying AI because everybody says AI. I'm like, what kind of AI? Is it machine learning, a large language model, deep learning, neural network? What do you got? Probably any of the Apple products. There were no Apple products. 2-screen laptop, the Zen Fold, that's not new. It's just that they got better at it. And that's what we talked about with Shannon yesterday. Quad folding phone, saying that's hilarious. Yes, please. Quad folding phone. No announcement for 4K Blu-ray players. Really thought with the decline of streaming, physical would make a comeback. Okay, here's my take on this. You are right. Physical is better. You are right. It looks better. You have control. You are right that people got a big scare when Sony decided that they were going to have to remove some content because they couldn't get the licensing terms renewed. Those kinds of things rarely have widespread effect because most people aren't paying attention. Most people don't care. That Sony library was a very big deal for a very small amount of people. Not a lot of people used it. And the people who were mad about it and not affected by it will forget. So I just think convenience trumps fidelity once again. And the convenience of, well, I can just go online and watch it is going to trump. I have to buy it and then take it to my home and then keep it and organize it and remember where I put it and get the disc and put it in. It's sad but true that I think that's what's gonna win. What they do need to do is make it easier for you to find on the streaming services. That's the big challenge now. I don't know that I agree with that, Professor R2. Studios hate selling you a copy they can't control. I think that's overstated. I think studios, studios are full of people who want to just make art that people see and whatever's easiest to get people to see it. And they also have people in them who want to maximize that profit line. And so whatever maximizes the profit line is good. If physical media, and when physical media does maximize profit lines, they do physical media. A great example is music. In Korea and Japan, CD sales are rocking because you can get fans to buy them as a collectible, in which case they love physical media. So it's not a moral thing. At least that's the way I look at it. Season 3 of Mando, or a movie. And a movie. Yeah, CES is interesting, and I think I want to give the CTA more credit than I think they get sometimes for working hard to stay relevant by doing things and attracting companies and bringing people in that are going to be big next time. The Eureka Park thing is one thing they like to tout a lot, and I get it. What they're doing there is really smart, and I don't think it gets covered enough because it's hard to cover because it's about their future. So Eureka Park is where all the startups are, and those booth spaces are way more affordable than what you would pay in Central Hall, South Hall, North Hall, West Hall, et cetera, on purpose because they want to give startups a chance to get in front of people and become very big, successful startups that can afford to buy the big booths and have a trained in their booth like SK later on. And you don't see that. You don't see that. Oh, this group came from that. You certainly don't see it when that startup gets bought and their product ends up being showed off at the Samsung booth or some other booth. So I think they've done a good job of keeping CES relevant because every year everybody says, I don't know, I'm not finding anything that wows me. And then by the end of the week, there's a good dozen to 20 things that people are like, yeah, but that was kind of interesting. That was unexpected. Just the sheer scale of it is going to make that happen. Okay. I think I'm going to get ready for our production meeting here. This is super fun. I can't believe we went for 26 minutes. Didn't feel like it. I was just chatting away. Oh, Beatmaster, that's a good observation. Smart fridges are no longer the main CES joke. Big televisions are. And I will leave you with that note. DTNS coming up in just about an hour and 10 minutes. I will see you all there. Enjoy the rest of your day. Clinton, Zoe, and David. Bye. Bye.